Here we see everything that you're going to need to make a delicious pot of chili. Chili outside, chili inside. I used to race motocross. I still have my goggles and they come in handy for when I'm chopping up onions. These onions are really strong. You always want to use a sharp knife. Peppers! Chopped up. I'm going to use my saute feature to cook the venison meat real quickly. And then I'm going to set the meat aside. And we are going to then saute up all the vegetables and then reincorporate the meat. There we go. Saute is on. A little bit of EVOO. And then once it heats up, we'll add the meat. Okay, our Instapot is nice and hot, and we have 2 pounds of delicious, delicious deer meat. I like to call it deer meat because it comes from a deer. Some people like to call it venison. Woo! Watch it sizzle. Meat is almost brown, and I'm going to transfer it to a glass dish to set aside for just a moment. A few stalks of celery chopped, couple of carrots, all chopped up, loads of garlic, all chopped up, 3 tablespoons chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon cayenne, 1 tablespoon cumin, 1 tablespoon paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and a full teaspoon of pink sea salt. First thing I did was added some EVOO. Get it nice and hot to saute up our vegetables. Now it's time for the method to all the madness of making chili. With our crock pot, we're going to hit the saute button. And that's going to get it nice and hot so that we can add our mirepoix. And the mirepoix is just a simple chopped up mixture of what we have is onions, carrots, and some celery. So once this is nice and heated up, we're going to go ahead and add all of this in here. And in just a minute it'll start sizzling right up. On top of this mixture, I'm going to throw in our pepper mixture. Add some garlic and let this saute for about 5 to 7 minutes. Our vegetables are now starting to get tender. We're just about ready to add our meat and other ingredients. This is the venison that I sauteed earlier. It was browned. It's still nice and hot. I'm just going to add this into the pot. Next up, it's time to add all of our stuff that's going to create the sauciness of the chili. So right here I have 2 cans of, I decided to use fire roasted tomatoes. So 2 cans of fire roasted tomatoes. Our garden didn't produce very many tomatoes this year, so we didn't have an opportunity to can them. Hopefully next year we'll get the hang of it. To that we're going to add 1 14-ounce can of tomato sauce. I decided to add a tiny can of green chilies just for some extra flavor. And then to all of that, we're going to add this beautiful plate of spices. Once everything's added, I'm going to give it a quick stir. So this is our chili coming together. I'm just going to mix it all up. The other day I canned some chicken bone broth, and it's liquid, but it's still kind of jelly. It's a bit thick, so I'm going to add some of this to our chili. And this is going to give the chili a little bit more moisture it needs to cook in the Instapot. Some recipes call for adding water, but I like to add extra nutrition wherever I can. Some recipes for this amount of chili would call for 3 cloves of garlic, and I think I doubled it. I love having a lot of extra garlic in the chili. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this whole jar. It's a whole pint of bone broth to our chili. The next step is to place our Instapot lid onto the Instapot. Make sure it is sealed, and we're gonna turn it off, and we're gonna hit meat stew, and it automatically pops up with 35. So what we're gonna do is just let this sit, let this cook and stew for 35 minutes, and then we're gonna come back to it and we're gonna have a delicious lunch and extra for the next couple days. Chili's so good. It's gonna simmer, it's gonna cook in the pressure cooker. I love my Instapot. Our chili is finished. It's been warming for 8 minutes now, and I'm gonna release the pressure valve. I'm gonna do a quick release and let that go. The moment of truth. It's done depressurizing, and now I can open it up. And this is what the chili looks like once I remove the lid. It's boiling. Nice and hot. Everything is cooked through. It looks delicious. Topped it with some onions and a little bit of purple sauerkraut. Yum, yum. If you like watching me cook, subscribe to The Holistic Homemaker on YouTube for more yummy, 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 healthy recipes.